Hello, my name is Lannetta Lockhart, and today I will be talking about the First Amendment of the Bill of Rights. I have chosen to discuss specifically religion because that is near and dear to my heart as a Christian, and I think the idea of it is very important not only when it was first written, but even today and beyond in the future. So first, I would like to read the amendment to you. It reads, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press or the right of people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So I think it's important to hear the actual amendment. We often hear freedom of speech or freedom of religion when we discuss the Bill of Rights, and being a teacher, I'm often talking with the students about the United States Constitution, the Bill of Rights, and so forth. And so I think it's important to be reminded of the verbiage that was actually used back when they were originally written. As I said, I chose to look at religion specifically because being a Christian is very important to me. However, when you hear the word religion, it often has now been associated with something that is done repetitively. Whereas when I was young, religion meant how you believed. You believed in God, or honestly, that's where it ended for me. You believed in God. And so we practiced our religion. Nowadays, it's certainly been altered to fit the growing differences of our country. So for the sake of argument, when I speak of religion, I mean to worship God, or in this case, because it is across the United States, to worship whomever you worship, and the idea of freedom of religion. Since this is not a theology class and so forth, we will go on and discuss this in relationship to our government and the establishment of the amendments when they first began. I found an article, and I'd also like to read just a small bit of that, only because I cannot remember exactly what it says, and I want to make sure I do it justice. It says, religion is everything and nothing. It touches upon every facet of human experience, yet it often has no observable existence outside the mind and heart of the believer. The core of reality to one person is a fairy tale to the next. Religious faith is an act of constant interpretation, translating the flesh and blood into the invisible ink of the human spirit. It enjoys a special constitutional sanctuary, but no one quite knows what it is. When you think about that quote from that article, it certainly reminds me that the view of religion and belief in God or belief in someone else is still quite abstract. And as a Christian, I believe that we grow our relationship with God through Jesus Christ. But in this particular world and country, oftentimes God is not necessarily the higher power that people worship. So again, to put this in a more academic setting and not a theological one, the idea that people can have freedom to worship as they choose, who they choose, is still an important aspect of our Constitution and our rights as Americans. I think about the forefathers and when they wrote the Bill of Rights and when they all agreed upon them. They may not even have imagined just how great this country would turn out to be. Not only great, but big. Literally, a lot of people living in this country, believing different things. And of course, the inpouring of different religions, different people, different customs, the diversity that is seen in America today. So for them to imagine this, it is interesting to reflect back on what the original amendment said and how it certainly relates to today. Another aspect of this amendment is seeing it firsthand, and I'm sure everyone remembers the county clerk in Kentucky who refused to sign the marriage licenses for same-sex marriages, and how certainly her constitutional rights were, for lack of a better word, infringed upon. Essentially, she ended up being able to return to her job, even though she was jailed for a short time because of her First Amendment rights. Whether or not that will impact our future is yet to be told, but from an academic perspective and just from a human perspective, I would imagine that the First Amendment will become under fire as the next generation grows and our country continues to evolve.